Hey guys, what's up? So today we're on the Crown by Carpenter, as you can tell. So we're gonna do the Q&A, and yeah, I got asked a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to answer them to the best of my abilities. Now, here's my little disclaimer. I'm going to try to answer all the questions. I'm going to be doing them by where they were posted. They don't really go in any specific order. So if you posted your question right when I first started asking for questions, it may not necessarily be read first. So the other thing is that some of you asked the same questions. I will address the first question I come to, that is that question, I will address it then. And then one last thing, there are some questions that are a little lengthy. For time, I've cut them down, but I'll still answer your questions. So let me go ahead and pull up your questions, and we will get started. Alright, so the first set of questions is from the Amtran merch video. First question we have is from Project 681. How many buses have you actually committed to buying, but it didn't work out? Bus 2 included. I think the real question here is, how many buses have you committed to buying, but it didn't work out?
Hey guys, it is raining, and I'm here in Randolph County, inspecting a bus that I'm potentially going to buy.
I don't know about y'all, but I have not committed to buying any bus. But I certainly know a few people who have committed to a lot of buses.
So next question, Henderson Glover. When will you start working on fixing 66 and 3 again? Oh, okay. Yes. So that's a good question. As for 3, my main focus right now is getting 59's transmission off of 59 and putting it on 3, because it's an AT545, and as far as I know, that transmission is good for 3. The fuel tank on 59 is also something I'm looking at for 3, but my main goal is to get 3 running. All the superficial stuff will be done afterwards. As for 66, I really don't know. I just kind of work as I go, or whenever I have the time to do it. It's mid-July, or towards the end of July now. Like, I'm here today, it's rainy, it's crappy outside, it's because it's kind of cool, and I can film inside the buses without it being a million degrees. So, yeah. Rudy Brazino, I think I said that right, apologies if I didn't. When did you first drive that Amtran bus, like the one you own, the one you have now? So, this Amtran bus that I have now is actually the first bus I ever drove. I first drove it when it was next to my house, and I really wouldn't consider it driving. I really just inched it forward and back a little bit. I didn't really get to drive it until it got to the storage lot, where I had more space to move around. So really, I guess I would say the first time I really was behind the wheel of it would have been March of 2017 when I got it. But technically, it really didn't get driven by me until probably, I believe we brought it here in October of 2017. So, yeah. Alright, community post number 1. So this was the first community post. I don't know which one it was. I just put 1, 2, 3. I think there's like 3 posts. So, this question's by Safety Liner C2. Number 1, why 2? Number 2, is it an All-American or is it a Super Coach? Number 3, why didn't you? In parentheses he put, I think you know the rest of that question. Listen here, basically, 2 was just me wanting to buy another bus for cheap. It probably didn't happen for a very good reason, because I didn't need it. But I figured, hey, why not try? That would have been really cool for us while you were here. Come on, picking up a bus, getting to see Lebanon's buses. Anyways, and actually it's neither. It's actually a Corbeil Freightliner. And as for the last question, I don't know. I just didn't feel like driving it. And I don't know why people can't take that as a acceptable answer. You know, like, I don't get it. I didn't want to drive it. Leave it alone. Next question from Connor. He has a few questions, so I'll just ask them and then answer them as they go. So, what is your favorite school bus of all time? Would you recommend the IC HO scale bus model or the Bluebird HO scale bus model? What buses do you plan to buy in the future? And there was a question about needing a special license to drive a bus. Yes, you need a CDL. If it's, I'm not going to like specifically say because, you know, I'm in Ohio, your state might be different. But usually if it's over 14 passengers, it's CDL. So, what is your favorite type of school bus? That's a good question. Most of you would think first gen CE, right? Yeah. No. Yes and no. It's a real hard tie between an S-Series Wayne and the first gen CE. I also love my Amtran REs. So it's really kind of hard to put on it. But so if I had to say my favorite bus of all time, I don't know. It's just hard to put a favorite bus of all time. I guess, you know, really it would have to be both first gens and Waynes because I can't really put one above the other. Now, as for the next question of would I recommend the IC or the Bluebird, IC all the way. Because, first of all, the Herpa, the current versions are cheap and not made well. The older ones are cool. They are detailed well. But the CE has a working crossarm, people, and a working stop sign, which I know the Herpa does too. And it's got mirrors. I know the Herpa has turn signals and all that kind of stuff to put on the hood, but it's just small and delicate, and I just don't mess with it, so I would do the CE. Buses I plan on buying in the future. There's a list. It's not as bad as Adam's list, but it's still a list. I would actually not mind having like a little trio of REs and FEs. Like, I would love to have a Amtran FE spec'd exactly like 66, same cap, high headroom, T444E, school bus charter signs, and then I would like a second gen RE and FE spec'd exactly like 66, except they have the MaxxForce DT. And of course, I'm going to have me some ICs. I would absolutely love to have more Waynes. I do want to get myself a Superior at some point. I have a Carpenter right now.
Crown by Carpenter.
But I have a Crown by Carpenter right now. It's really not a good example. But I guess maybe an actual working Crown by Carpenter at some point. Maybe a Minotaur, a Chaperone. I mean, there's all kinds of buses I'd like to have at some point in my life. Moving on, Stephen Turner. 359 or 66, which is your favorite? I can't really put a favorite. Well, 59 doesn't count because it's nothing. Probably 3. I know that sounds weird because it doesn't run or anything, but 3 is just more special to me. 3 is the reason I got 66. 3 is the reason I was actually interested in buying the other buses. So really, if it wasn't for 3, I wouldn't have even bought 66. T44E or DTA 360. Come on, guys. You know who I am. You know how I was raised. It's the T444E, AT545, or nothing. Okay, come on. Transit style bus or conventional? I like me some transits, but to be fair, I haven't driven a working conventional, so I don't know. I grew up riding conventionals, but I also rode some transits, so really, either one is fine with me. Is my fourth question too long? No, it is not. Brian Fry, can you do a list of info on all the retired buses? When you say retired buses, are you talking about Lebanon's retired buses or my model retired buses? Like, let me know what you're talking about, and I can surely do a list for you. Jason Hool, so again, if I didn't pronounce that right, sorry. When did you fall in love with school buses? I wouldn't say it was falling in love because it's an interest. I guess I don't know. Whatever. It's hard to say because I feel like I've always liked school buses. Why don't you just refer to Cameron's Why I Like School Buses? No, I'm kidding. I'm actually going to do one of those myself to explain it. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's kind of hard to put a time on it. I've just always liked them, so I don't really know. Crown Bus 32. Hi, Katrina. Do you want to drive one of those things you didn't drive that one time, Winky Face? I swear all of you are going to make me just... Of course, Katrina. I will gladly drive one of those things at some point. I don't know. I guess next time I'm in Indiana, I'll just have to stop on by and well, you know, when I come to see your EFXs. RRR Bus 3196. What is the most interesting bus you rode? In parentheses, you put not, that isn't 50. Most interesting buses, I can't really say. If I'm being objective, it's the Crown Super Coach. Very interesting bus. But if I'm being honest, the Wayne Lifeguards I rode. I know a Crown Super Coach is all that and a bag of chips, but like, to be honest, I prefer I prefer riding the Wayne Lifeguard. It's just, you know, like, there aren't Crown Super Coaches out here. You don't see in Ohio in-service Crown Super Coach. It's just not a thing. So, like, I didn't grow up with them. You know, I rode one a few times. You know, I think it's a cool bus, great, didn't drive it, whatever. But personally, if I had to pick, I would prefer to ride a Wayne. And that's why I have to say Waynes were probably the most interesting bus that I've ridden. Noah Barrett, any restoration plans for 3? Yes, 3 is going to be restored. Have you tried to get 3 started and to start and idle? No. I do want to hook up batteries to it. The engine is apparently seized, so I don't know if that'll even start. But I do have a key for the ignition, so that's cool. How much work would it take to get 3 roadworthy again? Basically, at the end of the day, I know it looks like a mess, but really, it's all chalked down to needing an engine and transmission. And then after that, I really feel that once it starts up and everything works, you might need to do some work on the brakes. You might need to replace some lights, do some rust work and paint work. But other than that, I really don't think it's that major. Also, whatever happened to the old Bus 15, the Bluebird? Yes, I have not been to see that in quite a while. So I don't know. It should still be there. I'll have to go there and just like do a video or something. Next we have Bus 93. Where did you live in Virginia? I lived in a place called Bristol, Virginia. I forgot to look up the school district I went to. But yeah, that's where I lived. That was probably like 2004 or 5-ish. Because by 2006 we were back in Ohio. What buses did you ride while living there? Have you ridden on a manual bus before? I rode, I'm pretty sure they were TC2000s, but they could have been All-Americans, I don't remember. Rode those, they were FEs, and I also rode Bluebird Mini Birds. They had, for whatever, it wasn't Head Start, but for whatever program or preschool type thing I was in, I rode Bluebird Microbirds. Let's see. Have I ridden on a manual bus before? Yes, I rode on Katrina's Crown. It is a manual bus. Chris Bus Fan 437. Do you know I live 30 minutes from Lebanon, Ohio? Yes, you made a comment about this. Have you heard of my Amtran recreation made exclusively for you? No, I don't think I have. Okay, next we have Gavin Keene Outdoors. Do you have plans to buy another newer bus like a CE? Yes. Can I show you 50? Yeah, 50, maybe 97 when it gets put out of service. Of course I'm gonna buy some CEs. CNF Transportation Inc. Are you selling any of your bus models? Can you get a Bluebird 3800? I do sell my bus models, or when I do sell them, I put them on eBay. So, you know, you can look on eBay for my bus models. Yeah, I almost bought a Bluebird 3800, bus 2, but it didn't work. Let's see. Parker T. What was the first bus you rode to school? Wayne Chaperone. That would have been in Monroe, actually, way back when. IC Lover 17. How did you first meet Safety Liner C2? Okay, so there are two lines to this. I first started talking to Cam in like 2012. I had uploaded my first video, and I, at the time, misidentified the Serpent school bus that Hot Wheels makes as a Bluebird All-American. Now, in my defense, the stacked headlights made me think of an older All-American, but to be fair, Mattel, who makes Hot Wheels, is based in California, so that would make more sense as to why they modeled a bus after a Crown Super Coach. So he corrected me on that, and I was like, no, I think I said, thank you, but I'll think what I want. So basically, I was like, no, I don't think I will to him, and we do the same thing to this very day. Now, when I met him in person, that was at the Harrisburg Airport in Pennsylvania for the first time when we were doing Spring Fling last year, as in 2018. I just kind of remember getting out of the truck and him walking up, and I was like, oh, that's Cameron. Cool. Hi. Sit up front. But yeah, I don't know. I've almost known Cameron for, it'll be 8 years next year. He's the only person that was there when I first started that I still actually talk to, other than Chris. But other than that, you know, he's one of my better friends. I call him my best friend all the time. And I feel like, you know, I've only seen him twice in real life. So, you know, for what our friendship is, usually we just get Skype calls or phone calls or Snapchat or whatever. You know, I feel like we have a pretty good friendship for, you know, not seeing each other every, you know, day or every month or whatever. But yeah, so that's how I met Cameron. Now the next question we got here, ICC83, what was your first reaction to Lebanon getting C2s? Well,
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
that was my first reaction. I've come a long way. I was so standoffish, I feel, about C2s, because I was under the impression they were just going to replace everything we had, and that was, you know, my childhood right there, and I didn't want to see them go. I talked with our transportation director, and he said he doesn't want to be that guy just to order one thing. So, you know, kind of made sense. So I feel like he spec'd them very well. I like them. I think they look great. You know, we got the little lights, flashy lights that work with the stop signs. The little back, in the back, he did not spec that annoying little back window. I hate those on C2s. And then, yeah, I think he did a good job speccing the buses. So, like I said, wasn't too happy at first, but then I've gotten better. I've started to like them more. So, next question, and this is on the next community post. Tommy Lund, can you do a story time about how you got into liking school buses? Did you have the same driver in the mornings and afternoons? Yes, I can do a story time. I'm actually going to do a whole entire video about why I like school buses, kind of like what Cameron did. You can see that here with the card. And no, we did not have different drivers. We had the same driver unless like we got a sub or a new school year changed and they rebid and everybody, you know, and they got a new route. So, yeah. Now, I will say, SPC Marion 3831 had commented about how I met Cam. I just explained it, but there you go. There's your little shout out. ICC83, what is your opinion on the state of the RLR community? Why do you hate Thomases? I do not hate Thomases, okay? Just because I happen to like IC more than Thomas's does not mean I hate them. I don't know. I just, from my point of perspective, like, I grew up in a district that was Amtran, IC, Bluebird, Wayne, Carpenter, Crown by Carpenter. I honest to God had not seen a Thomas in person until probably 2013. So for me, I knew what they were, but I wasn't that knowledgeable about them. I'd never ridden on one, never seen one before, so I didn't know. I've grown to like them a little bit more. I prefer some of the older ones, mostly like S-Series Thomas, Lodestar Thomas, 3800 Thomas. But yeah, the ROR question. ROR is a joke, and I feel ever since I got my buses, I just don't feel the need to play it. Like, I understand some of you younger people that don't have access to buses or don't own buses, like why you want to play it, and that's cool. I get that totally. But when a 21-year-old is able to make ROR videos and they get more views than real bus videos, I'm just kind of like, where are your priorities at, guys? I have real buses here. What the heck? Okay, sorry, I just had to make that comment, and I think he knows why. Anyways, it's on its way out. It really is. It was kind of hitting its peak when I got into it, because you got out of those poorly designed buses and got into the actual ones that actually looked really good. And now I feel like, especially after Cameron leaves, it'll just, what will it be? Nothing. Moving on, we've got 2 more questions here. Safety Liner C2, does this question count? Of course this question counts. You got it in before the deadline. Okay, and last one, Rudy Brazino. Sorry again if I messed that up. What was it like doing behind the scenes with Adam and Cameron? Well, it was good. I mean, it's like having 2 of your best friends with you for a week, like nonstop. It was great. I mean, sure, I kind of got picked on for buying a Crown by Carpenter and almost buying a Bluebird 3800, and the fact that 2 of my buses don't run. But other than that, it was great. I had a lot of fun, and I probably wouldn't have changed any of it. And, you know, I don't know. There's nothing really to tell you guys. It's not like they're both horrible people, because they're not. But they're not, really. So, yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. You guys saw the behind-the-scenes videos. That's really how it was. I mean, we cussed each other out a lot, but it's all in good fun. So that's that. Thank you, guys. Shout out to Rudy. He's the one that said do a Q&A, so I've done it. One other thing, I want to shout out somebody, Ethan Live. He got audio of Child Checkmate activating, and it just brought back so many memories for me, and I love it. And I really like some of his content. He does walk-arounds. I think he's done some ride-alongs. So just go check out his channel, subscribe to him. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah.